test. Hello, and we are live and direct from the spaceship, middle of the desert in New Mexico, coming from the underground. I'm gonna finish up my Emacs series, I guess. Some background noise. My air conditioning is on. Let me turn that off. One moment. All right. So a couple things to go over. This is part 3 of the Emacs series. Trying to get to actually how to use it in the real world. I've been using it at work, working in DevOps the last 8 years or so. And it's just been my daily tool, my daily driver that's always open. Not saying it's always the best tool. There may be moments I reach out for something else. Emacs is always where I land back. I land back in Emacs though, every time. So here we go. This is I'm in org mode at the moment. You can get there by creating a .org file. And you can think org mode has a lot of hype, honestly. I've never been huge on it, but you can't talk about it at this point without talking about it. So I'll give you my 2 cents. Org mode, you can think of it like a type of file to organize information. I think some people plan their whole lives in it though. That's not me, but you can think of it like a glorified markdown file. So everything you type with a star is like a tier 1 category. This would be 2, this would be 3. So, if you know HTML, think of it almost like your H1, H2, H3. These are all collapsible. You can have like subcategories in each. Whoops. And then you can write paragraphs. Okay? So there you go. Org mode. Now, you can hit Shift Tab to kind of close everything down, and you can toggle through Shift Tab to open everything up, even everything possible. So I kind of put my show notes in the org note today. I'm going to collapse everything again by hitting Shift Tab. You can export these in various formats, like HTML or something, if that's your thing. You can also write your READMEs in GitHub. Instead of like Markdown, you can write it in an org file and upload that. And some people like to do that. No problem. So that's the nuts and bolts of org mode. And you can hit tab on each one to kind of collapse and expand. So org mode, that's all there is to it, I think. So I'm going to kill that. I'm done with the org mode. Next thing is a couple notes left over on shell mode from yesterday. So if you go into shell mode, Basically, we like shell mode because we can use all the Emacs keys in here, and that's nice. But, that means we have some conflicts from what we're usually used to. So typically in a regular terminal, the most common thing you'll do maybe is Control R to reverse search. So Control R is taken in Emacs to search the text, So Alt R is what we use. And then we can reverse search our command history. So there you go. And similarly, Control P, maybe you use that to load like the previous command you just ran. Well, it's also taken because Control P in Emacs is up. So in shell mode, we just use Alt P, and that's my previous command from the bash history file. So I wanted to hit on those 2 points from adding on to yesterday real quick. There's an add-on which I included in Spartan Emacs by default, by the way, which I really like it a lot. It's called Better Shell. It's an add-on to shell mode. So I'll show you. I think it's this one. We'll see. Yeah. I actually replaced I create an alias called sh, and it runs this command here. And I like it, but basically that's the main thing I do with this add-on. And what does it do? So basically, like if I'm browsing around exploring my files, and like I open here, like dired in Spartan Emacs directory, and I want to open a shell here, you can type Alt-X shell. But one kind of maybe historic, I don't know, it's just a strong dislike is if I already have a shell terminal open, then it doesn't change directory to where I just hit shell from. It just pops open the one. Better Shell will open another shell buffer with your present working directory where you're working out of. So if I run that right here with my alias, I automatically get a terminal that CDs to my project where I'm at. So that's why I like Better Shell. I just had like 600 megs of caffeine, so just give me a second to breathe. Sorry. All right, so my next favorite Emacs packages I want to hit on is no matter what framework, if you're going vanilla and using whatever package manager you decide to go with and doing your own custom, or if you're choosing something pre-baked like Spacemacs or Doom, there's a lot of packages. I want to talk about my favorite ones and what they do really fast. So it's just like a quick overview of some popular stuff and for me personally why I like it in my daily workflows. So better defaults, Emacs. Where the fuck is it? Technomancy. He's a legend. Okay. So better defaults is literally just a Lisp file when you install the package, and it just kind of sets some things that most people like. Makes it so when you Control S and Control R, you can use regex. It uses maybe a better autocomplete for people that use the hippie expander and don't go with the whole LSP and stuff like that. It turns off some annoyances that are common. And so for me, by now, I've been using better defaults for like a million years. So I just kind of turn it on for the most part. Next one, Crux. So Crux is awesome. When you install Crux, it's another simple, not the Latin word. So Emacs Crux. Again, it's a very simple package, and Crux basically gives you a bunch of little helpers, and you can bind them to keys. And the ones I use without thinking about, it's like if I hit Control A here now, you expect it to go all the way to character 1 on this line, but it's going to actually go to the beginning of the first word on the line. So there. And then I can hit Control A again and jump back to character 1, Control A again and jump back to the character. So when you're in code, that's kind of nice. I use it to hit, I think I bound on Control O, one that opens a new line below, and like Control UO to go up above. A bunch of little nifty helpers like that. So I've always ran Crux and better defaults. I use the straight plus use package for maintaining all these packages. I like the one that's called straight. The developer of it is very talented, and basically it's a reproducible package manager. So if I install Emacs on any computer, like I'm getting the same package versions exactly down to the hash. There's security benefits to that, and there's stability benefits to that. And then use package is just a really fast and easy to use package manager and configurator. So an example of how to do that might be in my project called Spartan Emacs. And then we got, so we like Eaglot. Eaglot hooks you up to language server protocols. It's more lightweight than the other one. It's no frills, minimal, and throws the auto completions in. And then we use the one company for the drop-down dialogues that gives us completions while we type, and it'll read right out of the Eaglot LSP stuff. And then we like Magit for Git. And so anything we're doing with Git, we want to use Magit. So like for example, we can jump into a project like this one, and I do Alt-X Git, which runs the Magit command, pops it open for me, and it looks like this. I can hit tab and view all the recent commits. I can jump into a commit and see what was going on. You know, and who did it and stuff like that. And if I was editing a file in here, then you know, let's edit a file and then jump back into Git and then DU for diff unstaged. There we go. And it shows me unstaged changes. And if I want to highlight like part of this, I like it maybe just, I only like this change. So I'm going to stage just this hunk and hit S on it. And now I have DS for diff my stage changes, just that. And the unstaged stuff is still there. And I changed my mind. I want to unstage it all again. I hit U, yes, unstage. And oh crap, this whole thing is bad. I'm going to hit K and discard it. Yes. So you can do that among many other things. As soon as you open up Magit for the first time, hit question mark. and you can see everything that it can do. Each one of these categories will take you down a section, and the ones I use the most would be stage, unstage, discard, log, commit, merge, push, pull. It helps to know Git first, so you kind of know what you want to do. That makes Magit easy. I don't think I'm going to teach Git, so if you want to learn Git, maybe check out the manual. But what I just said of the things I use the most, that's probably because that's the stuff you need to know how to do for work. So maybe look into those areas especially when you're learning. And Git branch, of course. So basically, probably the most important thing to know how to do is, clone a repo, set up the remotes, create a feature branch, make your changes, push up your feature branch, and then to wherever, GitHub, GitLab, something, and then open a pull request. And then maybe create a merge conflict by updating the code a little bit on the master or main. And then go locally and pull down the latest change on master and merge it into your feature branch, and then push that up to fix your merge conflict. And then push that up again to your feature branch so that it merges cleanly again. And stuff like that. So Magit. One cool thing about log is, like, if I want to type L and then here capital G will search changes, so dash capital G, and then I can literally search every change for something to find specific commits. So if I wanted to look up every commit with the usage of a certain function, how about use dash package? Hit enter and then hit L one more time. Now this is every commit in my repo that has the words use dash package in the changes. You can do the same thing with the titles. I mean, most people probably just go to something like GitHub and search, use those search features, but this kind of uses the Git native local way. It's cool. So, moving on. FlyMake is for your linter. When you hook up FlyMake, it allows you to get your errors in a special buffer or warnings, and then you can click into those. And I'll probably be using that stuff later. And then Vertigo, I like that one. It's basically a fancier, I'm using it currently to fuzzy jump around. So I just kind of type in R and then it knows where I'm going, but maybe show notes, then Emacs. But if I go back and just maybe type in max, it still kind of picks it up. And I just hit enter on these and I'm cruising way faster this way. And then backspace just kind of bang, bang, bang back to your repos. So I like it. It's pretty lightweight stuff too. Control XB, scratch. So let's talk about Projectile and then get to ediff. Ediff is underrated. So for me, Alt-X Pro, I guess, I put it on the Projectile Commander. Then it's a bunch of stuff. You can hit the question mark here. It tells you what to do. So if we hit F, it's going to find files in a project. If we hit S, it's going to open our projects and let us switch projects. It's like a project view into all your repos. And if you hit G, it's going to grep files in a project. Okay. So the main things you want is F, G, and S. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Just use F, G, and S to get started. That's all I use it for, really. So let's do it. Let's hit S to switch a project. S. It shows my projects that are in my repos directory. Let's work on a project. So we'll switch to show notes. All right. Then you can pick a file in it, and I only have one file in this whole project, so let's go. Now, what's interesting about this now, it kind of changed the working directory of Emacs to the whole project. Like, so if I hit Control X here, F here, I'm right where I want to be. Now, if I want to grep this let's switch to the other project real quick. So Alt X, Projectile, S, and the other project I have on this computer at the moment in this directory is Spartan Emacs. So let's go there, and let's just open init. Okay. So then let's run it again, Pro, and let's find files. So F, and then let's do like everything ending in EL, or maybe I don't know the name of the file, but it's probably in Rust. So let's look at the Rust. Okay, so by file name, there we go. If we want to grep though, every single file in the project, we'll use the use package example again. So let's just see which files contain that string. So projectile, and then G for grep, and then enter use package. All right. So then I can jump down here. I can kind of tab through all these options, and maybe I want to look at the one that's like I want to use the Rust one again. So I'll hit enter, and it takes me right to the line. If I want to go to the PHP and look at it, it's right there. And if I want to look at Ruby, it takes me right there. If I want to look at Crux, it's right there. Vertigo, that particular one in Vertigo, it took me to line 52. So it's how to grep around in your project really easily. And we're done with Projectile. So, went over my favorite packages, Magit and Projectile especially. A little bit more about Better Shell, Better Defaults, and Crux. It's all good stuff. So I want to talk about ediff. So if we take two files that are somewhat similar, maybe we'll ask chat for some. Okay. Apparently we got Python. So let's create file1.py. Let's do it in a new project. Ediff example / file1.py. And when you do this, I don't have the directory, but it'll automatically figure it out for me. So I'm going to paste that in and hit save, and yeah, create the directory for me. Okay. And then we're going to do file2.py. Okay. So maybe there's times you want to diff something. Maybe you have massive logs that kind of look the same, but you're looking for some discrepancy to make it stand out. Maybe you want to diff those logs. Maybe you have two files that are highly similar and you want to see the differences. And maybe you need to decide on one and consolidate them. So that's where ediff can come in pretty handy. So anytime you want to run ediff, just Alt-X, ediff, enter. Choose file 1 and file 2. So file and, whoops, I believe I had some typos there. So ediff, and then so file A to compare. Default is file.py, but I'm going to explicitly click it. And then B to compare, we'll do file 2. All right. So this is ediff mode in action. Okay. So we have file 1 on top and file 2 on the bottom. Question mark for help. I'm just going to walk us through it though. So I'm going to hit Q right here, I think. No. All right, I'm just going to drag this down so that we can see what's going on. So when you hit N and P, it jumps through everything that's slightly different between file 1 and file 2. And then up here is A, and down here is B. So what we want to do is choose. We're going to consolidate them. So for example, let's say we're working on file.py, not file 2. But we want to keep some of file.py as it is, but we want to incorporate some of file 2 into file.py. So let's start at the top and just kind of P up to the top. Okay, and then N once. Okay, so here we see the difference. Do we like top or bottom? Let's say we like the bottom one. So I'm going to hit B, and it changed the top one to be like the bottom one. Now they no longer have a diff on that line. I'm going to hit N to go to the next one. All right, and let's say this one, oh, we don't like the bottom one. We don't like B here. We want to keep A as it is, so we're going to hit A on this difference. Wait. Control slash to undo. I don't like that change that I just made. I didn't realize what I did. No, you can't control slash there, but you can jump into the buffer and hit control slash in this one where it was screwed up. Okay, we put it back. Now I'm going to jump back down to the bottom one. Hit P just to be sure, and then N. Okay. Now, since we like it as it is, like I was saying in A, we should not hit B. We should just go to the next one and leave it alone. Okay. So on this one, let's say we like B again, so I'm going to hit B. Now, it changed it. And then let's go down. Okay. I think this is our final diff 4 of 4. And let's say we like B again. Okay, so if we're done ediffing, we can hit Q and say, yeah. And it still leaves our buffers open, and this is the one that we consolidated some things, but not everything, from B into. So I'm going to save the file. And that's kind of how to use ediff. So it's helpful for spotting differences in files and choosing which ones you like while you're working on a file or two. Makes it easy. All right. So that is ediff, Magit, Projectile, Crux, Better Shell, Better Defaults, Straight and Use Package, Eagle Company, FlyMake, basically going over what they do, Vertigo. I mean, it's basically an Emacs starter kit at this point, if you add all that stuff. But maybe most importantly is just kind of get to know your tools. If you learn Git and then throw Magit on it, you can quickly do Git operations. Projectile, be project aware. Finding files, grepping files. Ediff, diffing files. I'm not sure what much more we need to get work done. I'll be working on my Emacs in future streams, probably while I'm messing around with a programming language, because I might learn a programming language. I'm kind of trying to decide which new language I want to dive into. Maybe Rust, maybe Golang, maybe C, maybe Lua. I haven't fully decided on which way I want to go in this. But yeah, chime in the comments, or I don't know, I'll decide myself. In the end, I will. So, and while I'm working in one of those new languages, I'll probably be improving one of my language layers in Emacs while I'm at it, making sure the auto-completion and language server protocol is perfect, and debugging, troubleshooting, linting, things like that. So this will be ongoing, but I'm kind of wrapping up the Emacs series on, how to get work done in Emacs and how to set it up to get work done and how Emacs works, and just trying to be helpful for people that might be interested in that. And now I'm kind of getting more into things that interest me more. So for now, I might get into some programming languages or a project or something and do that for a little while. But before I did that, I wanted to kind of just talk about some of my favorite Emacs packages and how I think like shell mode, Magit, Projectile, and ediff are pretty essential in day-to-day operations if you're an Emacs user. So I'm going to stop this stream and probably start it up again. Thanks.